everyone, today I'm reviewing a fragrance for you. It's one I discovered in Milan when I met up with perfumer Amanda Beadle from the company Bedeaux, and it's called Chouette. As you can see, I've already made quite a dent in the sample because I keep trying it on skin. I've worn it once properly and now I'm going to wear it again. So here we go. I'm going to do some on my wrists as well. I'm off to work. It's a night shift for me, so I'll be heading off in a few minutes. I work from 6:30 p.m. till around about 6:30 a.m. and that's a really good amount of time to be testing out fragrances. I do not expect them to last all shift. Some do, some don't. So I'll take something else to top up with if I do need to, because I always like to be smelling stuff. So Chouette is I was going to say a deer. Chouette is an owl, and I'll show you the picture.
Also, I need to tell you the notes. The notes are cassis, which is blackcurrant, sweet citrus, jasmine sambac, soft wood, amber and musk.
So that's a painting by the perfumer. She's also an artist as well as a perfumer. The details on the sample here, it says cozy, balmy, musky. Roaming with the fireflies under a sparkling midnight sky, enveloped by heady night blooming flowers and orchards nurturing their luscious ripening fruits, all billowing softly on an aromatic summer breeze. It's really difficult to describe actually. It's not a typical white floral type thing. It's not a typical fruity floral. It's really quite deep, very smooth, very luscious, very velvety, a little bit sweet. Trying to think, do I smell apples, you know, from orchards? Could be orchards just caught in the breeze, you just catch a whiff. It's not like smelling an apple or an apple tree right up close, but it's very balmy. It says it's balmy and it really is balmy. It has this lovely smooth balminess about it. Very difficult for me to pick out individual notes. I will study it further and I'll come back. Quick bathroom update for you. So the time now is, I took my watch off. The time is just after midnight, so the fragrance has been on me for 6 hours. Put it on at 6 hours. And what have I noted? So I did a fresh spray here a couple of hours ago just so I can compare the dry down on my wrist to the beginning notes. And what I found was it starts out quite sweet and rich, and there's cassis in there, which is blackcurrant, and it's kind of coming off to me almost cherry-like, almost like cherry liqueur-ish. But it also feels a little bit almondy. Now there are no notes of almond or cherry listed, but it kind of reminds me a little bit, only in a tiny way, of Le Plus Beau Jour de ma Vie from Galan, which has sugared almonds and aniseed anise. And I actually feel like there's a bit of a spicy, almost aniseed-ness to it as well. So what happens is it starts off a little bit sweet, not mega sweet at all, yeah, just a hint of sweetness. Then it kind of turns a bit savoury. It's almost like salted cream cracker into the mix. Not quite, but similar. So you've got this savoury edge that starts to come through. Some woodsiness starts to come through. And the woodsiness reminds me of wood shavings. So it has that kind of dusty, fresh wood smell. Not old wood and cabinets, but a kind of fresh shaved wood smell, which is a little bit sweet. It also gets a little bit musky, which I like, and it's a fairly clean musk, although it also feels a tiny bit like there's an undertone of something ever so slightly erring on the naughty side, but only just barely perceptible, just something that's almost a bit like smelling clean human skin, that kind of muskiness. But it's never, you wouldn't describe it as an animalic fragrance. It just feels like there's just this hint that makes it a little bit more interesting. What I found was the fragrance kind of veers from sweet, savoury, and back to sweet So when I say sweet, it never ever gets really sweet. It never gets sickly sweet or like a female designer fragrance that you get. It's just a hint of sweet. The kind of sweetness you get from Tom Ford signature line fragrance, like a Black Orchid or a Noir Extreme for men. It doesn't go as sweet as a female Tom Ford fragrances, but just a bit of sweetness. It's more about the richness and the woodsiness and the musk. It's just kind of a floral, slightly fruity, but a very transparent fruitiness, and a musk and the woods. But they do change, the notes sort of change on your skin, and it gets, after it's gone sort of sweet, savoury, sweet, it then starts just getting more and more woodsy, more and more musky, with just that hint of the sweet, fruity, transparentness coming through. That's what I'm getting. For about 4 hours, it was projecting quite well. It's no beast, it's not a beast. It's absolutely perfect projection for it's average, I guess, perfect for me, projecting just, you know, half an arm from my body. And then after about 4 hours, it came in quite a bit closer, but as I move around, I'm smelling it, so I'm definitely getting sillage from myself. On my wrists, it's dyed, but I only did one little spray on each. On my wrist, I've got like a Your Skin But Better feel, so it's kind of like a sweet muskiness with a hint of floral, almost like smelling perfume on clothes from 2 days ago, but it's really nice. But coming from here, where I sprayed a lot more, because I sprayed more after I recorded that initial clip, I decided I'd done a couple from the sample, so I thought, well, if I had a full bottle, I'd be spraying a lot more, and so I sprayed the majority of the sample up here, and that is now still very noticeable as a sillage. So I'm sitting in my seat upstairs, I'm in the works toilet, of course, sitting in my seat at my desk, and I'm kind of like rocking back and forth to check the sillage, check the fragrance is coming up, and it is still. So I would say performance is definitely good, and that's absolutely fine. Really liking it. It's just got that perfect level of sweetness. It's not getting too sweet, which I really like, and it's interesting. It's not like anything else that I've smelled in, well, that I can think of. Really, really nice. So that's all for now, and I'll probably just summarize a little bit later. So here I am at the end of my night shift. I probably look a bit rough. Well, there's no probably about it. I do look a little bit rough looking at myself in the viewfinder here. Yeah, but you know, I've done 12 hours, so forgive me. And it's, well, what is it? What's the time now? Because I actually got let off a little bit early, so it's 20 to 7 in the morning. So the fragrance was on for a long time, and it definitely has good performance. As I said earlier, projection quite noticeable for the first 4 hours, and it's a little closer to the skin but still noticeable as you move around for a good few hours after that. What I loved about it was how much it changed on my skin, but in very slow and delicate ways. What I was left with on my skin at the end was really quite different to how it started, but there was no jumps or jolts. It just smoothly transitioned, and I really love that. I love a fragrance that's not too linear. I like something that changes because it stops me from getting bored when I'm wearing it. It stops me from trying to being tempted to put something else on top just because I'm starting to find it boring. So massive plus for the fact that it is very changeable, but in a really lovely smooth way. So I'm just going to quickly recap how it smelt to me. I've got my notes in front of me. Sweetie's just come downstairs to see me. Sweetie. She's very clingy. She was very, I didn't kick her, I just touched the back of her tail then. She was very clingy all day yesterday, followed me to the bathroom every single time. Bit strange, bless her. She might have missed me when I was in Milan. This is just to my nose, it's my subjective opinion on how it smells. These are not the notes, these are just how it's perceived by me. I just want to point that out, because everyone seems to detect different things when they smell things, and there is no right and wrong as far as I'm concerned. So to me, I get a floral almond hint with a savoury edge. It has like a salted cracker-ish feel to it and a hint of woods. It kind of goes sweet, starts sweet, goes a little savoury, then seems to transition a bit sweeter again. Never too sweet, never ever cloying or sugary as such. It has a transparent fruitiness. I couldn't actually pinpoint the fruits. There's mention of orchards in the description, and also the cassis, which is blackcurrant. To me it smelled almost cherry-like, but not in a sharp or extremely sweet cherry nature, just slightly cherry-ish. There was a clean muskiness that almost tipped into being a human skin smell that wasn't maybe super clean. I would describe it as a dark fruity floral, and sometimes when I say fruity floral I actually mean it in a derogatory way, because a lot of female designer fragrances are fruity florals and they all have this kind of generic smell of flowers, caramel, vanilla, sugar. This is not that. It is slightly fruity. It's really hard to define it. It's slightly syrupy, smooth, fruity floral, but in a very dark way. Really dark and interesting. This is not a fragrance I've smelt before. I can't compare it to anything else. Normally most fragrances I could say, if you like this, this and this, you'll probably like this. I can't even think of an example of something that you might be able to compare it to. It has a nighttime feel. If it was a designer fragrance, it would have noir in the title, or nuit, night or dark. That's how it feels to me. Although it's not mega dark, it's just this dark kind of cherry-ish blackcurrant thing, makes it feel quite dark. But there was also a bit of creaminess going on in there, and I felt like there was just a touch of spice. At times it smelled almost gingery, other times almost like an aniseed kind of smell, licorice. In the far dry down, I got a sweet, woodsy, vanillic woodsy thing. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of the sexiest scent on the planet when I got to the far dry down. Completely worlds apart from how it opened up, but it got there so gently. It was perfect. I really enjoyed this fragrance. I'm gonna have to go to bed because I'm absolutely knackered. Thank you for watching. The fragrance is definitely getting a thumbs up from me. I really enjoy it. Chouette. Chouette is an owl. I think I told you that. The owl with no ears. Beautiful fragrance. Check out their website. I'll put the link in the description. Good night, everybody, or good morning actually, but really it's good night because it's sleepy time. Sweetie, do you want to say anything? No? Okay.